When you have a really thick area that you're trying to go over, what happens? You find yourself or your sewing machine kind of coming up to it and maybe trying to climb the mountain, and you get little tiny stitches. Maybe you break your needle. Maybe you try to push it in and things just don't go well. Well, here's a couple things. So number one, yes, this is denim. So having a denim needle would be best. I have not changed my needle. I'm just leaving the one that came with the machine in here. But I want to show you something that comes with your machine. It's a multi-purpose tool that can help you get up and over these really thick seams. So one thing to do is actually to make your stitch length longer. So by making it to a stitch length of 3 or more will really help pull all the fabric in. With little tiny stitches, it's trying, but the fabric's so thick that you almost don't get any forward movement because of the height of the fabric. So I do want you to go ahead, we're folding it, and also notice that I'm sewing from the top side. This is the back side, and that's why they call it top stitching. I also have the needle stopping in the down position. So as I get close to where the seam is, now honestly, this machine's gonna go right up and over. I didn't make this super thick, but I wanna show you what you would do. So as the needle stops in the down position, kind of right before you go over the seam, take the tool, now the skinny side for today, but you notice this side's a little thicker if you really had a lot going on. And I'm sliding it underneath the presser foot and up to the seam. So just enough so it will support the back part of this foot. So when the foot is actually stitching, it's level and not actually trying to go up the mountain. It's actually raised to the plateau of the thickness of seam. It's about ready to go over. Now vice versa, when you go back down the other side, you can slide the tool just up to the seam and let the needle do a few extra stitches down the groove, and then when you can, slide it out when the foot will come level back to kind of the main part of the seam. And then what you're going to get is perfectly even stitches as it goes over that area. And did you notice I didn't have to push it? Well, that's because I made the stitch length longer. So anywhere 3.0, 3.5, maybe even up to 4. This would also be a great place if you wanted to use that triple reinforced stitch, which is stitch number 2, and you can have a heavier looking finished area and not have to buy the thicker thread. So just depends on what your look is, but remember your tool is right there at your fingertips. And it is called a multi-purpose tool because it has more than one use. The going over the seams is great. The inserting the needle by dropping the needle into that small hole for catching it or inserting it. And then also too for creating a shank of thread for when you sew on buttons. So if you want to check out sewing on buttons, I'll show you how you actually use this tool for that same purpose.